Turn off all motion, thank you.
What will happen if current signatories do not comply with the code?
What will happen if countries that already signed the HUC do not approve of these changes? That's an excellent question. The delegate of Palau believes that these countries will decide that, well actually the delegate of Palau believes that every country in the world who has already signed the HUC, like the United States of America, will in fact follow its guidelines. Why? Because they've shown that they will. Because they have signed this resolution.
Do you believe that the nuclear weapon-free bloc can ever be issued as long as P5 nations continue to possess nuclear weapons, especially the USA, who is ruling the nuclear armament?
Could the chair please, point of person.
That is in order. Will the delegate please repeat the use of information perhaps in a more clear manner? Thank you.
Do you believe that the nuclear weapon-free bloc can ever be issued as long as P5 nations continue to possess nuclear weapons, especially the USA, who is ruling the nuclear armament?
Legal what? Sorry, could the chair please ask the delegate to rephrase his question again and slowly?
That is in order. Could the delegate please rephrase his more information perhaps in a clear and slow manner? Thank you.
Do you believe that the nuclear weapon-free bloc can ever be issued as long as P5 nations continue to possess nuclear weapons, especially the USA?
Given the fact that this delegate cannot quite make out what the other delegate is asking, he will reply with a question of his own and of the same kind of clarity. What came first, the chicken or the egg? The delegate yields the floor back to the chair.
That is in order. Thank you very much.
However, we do not believe that this resolution is necessarily the best way to reach that goal. We have several questions regarding the clauses of this resolution. For instance, Clause 2, specifically subclause A.
Seeing as time on this resolution as a whole has elapsed, we will now move directly into voting procedures. Could the admin staff please suspend no passing, secure the doors, and take the voting positions? There has been a motion to extend debate time, but in interest of debate and in interest of the other three resolutions we have to debate, this will not be entertained. Delegates, could you please refrain from speaking amongst each other as to make debate flow and to make the speakers easier to listen to? Thank you. With 97 votes for, 55 against, and 41 abstentions, this resolution has passed. Oman, the Central African Republic, and Angola, you've been recognized in that order. Please approach the microphones.
Essentially, this delegate of Spain is working with the understanding that this is going to be a slow process that requires much time. We do have short-term plans, of course, included with various clauses, but this is one of our more long-term goals. Essentially, we're hoping that male officers will receive training in which they will be more sensitive to the needs of female victims, because in many cases, women who present with some sort of case of abuse attempting to prosecute an offender can now receive assistance from local law enforcement because of certain cultural biases. It's our hope that these male officers will receive training, which will then allow them to better handle these situations, as well as integrating women into the law force so that women have somewhere else, so that there's a better balance within those law enforcement offices.
How is the delegate proposed to implement these policies policies in states where women don't even have basic rights such as the ability to drive and things like that.
Thank you. This is an issue the delegate has had to handle very much so, and it's an issue we all face in facing an issue like women's rights. We're working on the understanding that there are centuries of cultural bias within various member nations of the United Nations and worldwide. Again, this is about long-term goals. It's a slow process of integration. It's not about forcing upon anyone the beliefs of a certain society. It's about working together to ideally gain rights through discussion and to allow women to be empowered to empower women through not only the education of women, but also, again, the education of men. There are certain cultural biases that we can't change. However, that we can't force people to change, but it's our hope that eventually these can gradually change so that women can gain the respect they deserve.
Honorable Chair and fellow delegates, we must embrace the reality that women deserve to pursue their full potential. What this resolution does is it gives women the tools and the opportunity to take advantage of their lives and protect their fundamental rights. Through prevention, education, and punishment, this resolution tries to remove the stigma associated with discussing violence against women, and it tries to overcome violence against women by empowering them socially and economically. In addition, it doesn't try to impose any ideals on any culture or any nation. It rather tries to further the rights of women in the context of their respective countries, even in countries that are experiencing conflict. By understanding the problem, this resolution wants to ensure that women are entitled to an education, a violence-free environment, and a voice in their respective governments. We know that this issue can't be solved overnight. However, we must work together with long existing social norms so that in the end of the day, women end up with more rights than when we started. So by mainstreaming women and their rights into the international agenda, this resolution seeks to empower women and protect their rights to break the cycle of violence that these women are entangled in. In a time of change, we're confident that member states will be receptive to our ideas. Thank you. I still yield its time to any and all points of information.
Thank you, Delegate. That is in order. Clapping is not in order at this time.